Welcome to today's video, and today we're talking about feeling and emotions, of course in relation to physical chronic pain and in terms of the self-healing approach. So it's really important for you to understand the feelings and emotions because they are what create the flow in life. And if we're stuck somewhere, and if we're stuck in a cycle of repetitive chronic physical pain, and whenever we're stuck anywhere at any point, usually it's because of our resistance to what is at the moment. And this is very much connected to our programmed selection of feelings and emotions that we allow ourselves to feel. For you to better understand, we have a whole spectrum of feelings and emotions. I divide them, maybe for you they're one, but they can be from different types of sensations, intuitive feelings. That's where I would categorize feelings, and then emotions, grief, anger, happiness, sadness, joy, whatever there is for you. And then with the feelings, we have more of the pain and those inner knowings and feelings. And so any suppression of these, going opposite to what is right now, what we're feeling, is what creates that uncomfortableness. And it multiplies, it arises. Okay, so when we try to make the selection between this is a feeling I want to feel and I allow myself to feel, usually those are the positive ones. We always want to feel at ease, relieved, happy, laughing. We want these good feelings only because we've been programmed to the to the good girls and good boys. And we dream of an illusion of life where everything is great, everything's perfect, we have everything figured out. But the issue here is that this is the state where we no longer need that life experience. We're only going to be experiencing life, and it's both polarities, the positive and negative one, until we've basically learned it all. We go through life phases, we go through transitions and transformations, and this is connected to pain so much that as long as you need the pain in your life, as long as you're not tired of it and done with it, it's gonna be there. And when you reach that moment where you're done with that pain, you're ready to start doing something about it, you're ready to change it, you're ready for it to feel, then you're gonna get the right tools in your path, you're gonna get the right people, the right information for you to change this. And then it changes in an instant, because everything changes in an instant. And usually with being stuck somewhere, there is a simple way out. There's a simple solution of how we can move on back into the flow. But without experiencing feelings and emotions, we wouldn't be able to even know that we're experiencing joy, that we're experiencing something positive without experiencing something negative. And from my experience on the self-healing journey, the state we're trying to achieve is the harmonious state, the balanced state, the neutral state. Knowing that everything is happening for us and that life is constantly providing for us, and we're experiencing those experiences that we need at the moment that we need it. And so with pain, with long-lasting pain, it's only going to last the time you need it to last. Whenever you're ready for the next phase, for the next healing, for the next phase of your life, it's gonna come in the right time. But this, in the way of approaching our life, or if we're in the beginning, this may seem like there's nothing we can do. And then how are we then the creator of our lives, and how are we not? Because we need at least something to approach this. And the only approach, the one that will always bring you back to alignment, will always bring you back to yourself, is that no resistance, is acceptance of that situation and acceptance of that feeling that you're feeling right now. And the more you're struggling with how hard it is right now, the better moment it is to offer that acceptance, because with acceptance comes the opening of the problem. Because we usually try to open the pain with pressuring it. We put more pressure on ourselves. We blame ourselves. Why is this happening to me? Why am I like this? Why do I feel this pain? And all of this pressure only closes and strengthens the pain in our lives. All the pressure, suppression, ignoring, trying to avoid the situation, it's denying that that situation is. All of this feeds the pain and feeds the emotions and the feelings and stores them deeper and deeper in our body. And with each new cycle, they reveal themselves in that light, because everything suppressed in your body needs to be released. It needs, overall, the body is always restoring balance. The life is always restoring harmony, one way or the other. So you can't hide in front of yourself. You can't hide in front of your life, because you're the only main character of your life. And the more we try to make a selection between, I only want to feel these kinds of feelings and emotions, and I don't want to feel this. And we idealize it by looking and comparing ourselves to people. Wow, look at them. They have it all figured out. They never have low points. They never feel anything bad. This is the denial of the both polarities and of the ease. But in between of those polarities, of the ecstatic, sensational, positive one, and the negative and exhausted, overwhelmed, overthinking one, is the polarity of the neutrality and of the acceptance. And with that acceptance comes the relief. So, in terms of strong physical pain, that true acceptance of what is right now, acknowledgement, it is, and I allow it to be. Because with allowing, we usually open the source for the flow to go through us. If you've been suppressing it for a long time, the initial flow might be like a flash. And all the stuff that's been suppressed in your body needs to be released. So it's gonna be probably a big cleanse in the beginning. But at every phase of life, obviously, if you're only starting with this journey, maybe you won't be able to relieve everything, to feel into yourself immediately, to be fully aligned if you have spent your life going the opposite way and separating yourself from yourself. And if you're ready to come into acknowledgement with your pain, come into contact with your pain, contact it directly. I have a somatic practice that will be live maybe soon, next week, I think, on my podcast, Pain Relief Podcast, where I guide you towards the pain, directly into it, to basically get into that initial contact with it. And so no matter the practice or the way you're approaching what you're feeling right now, what your emotions are, and what the pain is, everything that goes across with it, and any attempt to control the situation unfortunately usually causes the opposite, which is strengthening of the pain. You suppress it only deeper inside your body. All of medication, we know it subconsciously that that's what it does, okay, because it only directs into the symptom, not into the core. But the ease and the relief which we want to achieve is only in that acceptance, in that allowance. And the allowing is what opens up that stored energy. Allowing the flow is what allows us to feel more of ourselves, and acceptance of, okay, I feel angry, I feel sad, I feel happy, I feel ecstatic, I feel depressed, whatever is the fastest way out of that feeling. Because only through allowing and not trying to analyze, not trying to overthink, not trying to control the situation is what allows the healing. Okay, what really opens up the healing. And this is a great way to approach the attack of migraine itself, how we call it. But as I have told you before, everything that happens before the migraine is what is stored in the migraine itself. At the moment of the physical sensation of the pain, of you feeling the pain itself, it's the end phase. It's the last final moment of what you have been storing inside. So it's been tension accumulating through different situations, through whatever the time was before. And in the time of the pain itself comes the release, comes the restoration of the balance. So any form of us trying to control this release and trying to interfere is what usually extends the migraine itself from hours to days, let's say. Any hour interfering with that pain is what then makes it more painful, makes the life experience give us more of it. Because us thinking through our ego that we can control how we feel is what unfortunately sticks us in that feeling, what holds us in that feeling. Any holding on and any analyzing the situation and trying to find a way is what suppresses the pain, what strengthens the pain, what makes more of it. Because you're not meant to be trying to find something outside of you to come and save you, to give you the solution to what you're feeling, but you're meant to be feeling what you're feeling. And the faster you come into the being of feeling, if that makes sense to you, the faster you come to yourself, to acknowledging, okay, it's here now, I'm gonna experiencing, and that's that. And it doesn't affect me, it doesn't define me, it doesn't limit me from anything, what comes next. It doesn't benefit me, it doesn't, the opposite of benefiting, okay, it doesn't do anything to me, it doesn't harm me, because we often fear that the pain, for sure something's been creating, something's on the inside, and that belief that something's being created on the inside, some disease, is also what strengthens the creating of the disease. Okay, because if we allow and if we open ourselves, okay, maybe there is, maybe there isn't. This is the release, the relief of the resistance. Okay, This is the allowing yourself to let go. There's another word which I can't remember right now, but the any letting go of what is right now is what is the fastest way out of the cycle of the pain. Okay, and any uncomfortableness in our lives is created by our suppression of the feelings and by trying to control what's not meant to be controlled. You're meant to be experiencing it, to learn. Everything is here for you to learn, to experience. You came here to experience, and you can't choose, I want to experience only the good things and not the bad things. You came here to experience the full package, the whole package, the knowing, bad and good, the knowing, sad and happy, the knowing of the polarities. You came here to experience all of it, but for some reason, our ego thinks that we can only experience the good or the bad, that we can't experience both at the same time. But this is the connectedness, the connection between the both at the same time, that the pain isn't even painful, because the pain will be painful only until we believe it's painful. Once we let go of it, then the pain disappears. It no longer has a substance for it being here. It no longer has a reason for it being here. If we let go into it. This is where most of my pain dissolved, with believing, okay, because before my belief was I have to be experiencing it. This is how I am. This is my life with the pain. But moving on to I don't have to be experiencing. I no longer have to. And I have been unleashing, let's say, or allowing to relieve all the layers of it, of that pain. Okay. And so with that allowance, with that letting go, is where the pain dissolves, is where those emotions dissolve. But as soon as we suppress them and we don't allow ourselves to feel sad, we don't allow ourselves to feel angry, because that's what good girls and good boys don't do. Good girls don't get angry. The good girls don't get sad. The good girls don't get frustrated. Okay, and if they do, they suppress it. So all of this being taught, okay, it's not okay for you to experience this emotion. This is what allows it to grow. And the more it grows, the more then it has to be relieved, and the bigger the relief will be. In the end, it's just the experience of the flow. You're going to experience, it's been written, and you're going to experience what you're meant to be experiencing. But the constant clinging to it is what strengthens it. So we need to remember this in terms of migraines. Yes, you need to go on that journey. You need to search. You need to adjust your boundaries. You need to adjust your life. In that phase, you're creating it. You're creating the real changes. But at the same time, you have only realized that you can change it at the right time in your life. There's no late time. It's your time. Once you realize this is it, this is in the instant where it changes. Once you realize, for me it was why I don't have to feel physical chronic pain on a daily basis. This is when it starts disappearing, in that instant, because there's no need for it. But if there's still a need and a belief that we still need to occasionally maybe experience pain and we need to suffer, then it's going to be present in our lives until we grow to that moment that, well, I don't need this anymore. I don't need to be experiencing even occasional chronic pain. With this knowing comes the acceptance. Whenever it's here, it's here. That's okay. I allow it to feel itself. I allow the pain itself to feel itself, but I'm no longer connecting to it. It doesn't define my action after or before. it doesn't define what I have after or before. It doesn't limit me. It's not the conditional love that if I'm like this, I can't do that. If I'm in pain, I can't. This is all connecting to the pain. Or if I won't have pain again. So the pain always is present. Those feelings and emotions are always present in our lives until we need them. Once we don't need them in that quantity, in that frequency, in whatever way, when we're ready to surrender, that's the word, once we're ready to surrender to them, this is when we start really healing, when we start being healthier, and we discover the layer of self-love, of self-acceptance, how we are. We no longer try to shape us into an image of someone who we're not. As I talked about this with the body, probably there's a body that you have agreed to have during this life. And we're the only ones trying to reach something different. We're always looking for that perfect body maybe. Or that the way we look, the appearance. We're looking for that appearance, for that tool that's gonna make us prettier, whatever. We're looking for that next thing that's gonna bring solution to our problems. But we need to understand that in the now, we have what we need. We have what we want at this moment, actually. And so with the feelings and emotions, those are the same. We need to go through what we're going through right now to understand why we're going through it and what's next. But surrendering to what is really simplifies the journey, makes it easier. This is a way where you make it easier to yourself. Okay, I don't know why I have a migraine right now, and that's okay. I surrender to this feeling. Probably I need to rest, probably. And it's only through that migraine that usually migraine enables us to, for example, rest if we're on a daily basis not even able to do that. So life will provide you what you want if you want to rest. But we don't put in the conditions that we want to rest without the migraine. So we manifest a thing that allows us to rest, which in this case would be the migraine. But we can surrender to this, and we can learn to rest guilt-free, for example. Therefore, there will no longer be need for the pain, for the suffering. Because we view ourselves as, okay, when I'm suffering, I can allow myself to rest. But when I'm not suffering, can I allow myself to rest? And why not? So these are the conditions. This is the conditional love towards us. This is where we're limiting ourselves to experience something we don't want to experience, but we believe we have to. And the way out of it is, okay, I surrender to this. It doesn't matter what I'm experiencing at the moment. With this comes the relief. With this comes the ease. Okay, I allow myself to experience a migraine. I allow myself to experience chronic pain. Once you approach your pain in this way, in the moment of the pain, not before or after, but in the moment of the pain, then this is the way of opening the pain itself. And actually, like a book, it opens up and it tells you the stories you've been telling yourself. It makes all the sense. Suddenly you're gonna see in front of your eyes your whole life story of situations that connect to this understanding. This is once we have the realization, the insights. This is where we start understanding. Wow, of course my pain is so painful because look at my ancestral line, look at what they've been through, look at what or mindset was like, and now what's mine. Okay, what is my mindset? What is the story I'm telling myself? What emotions and feeling am I allowed to feel and which not? And why not? Because sometimes we need to go through those feelings in order to understand them. Okay, I can feel anger, I can feel frustration, but once we feel it with the knowing of, wow, I allow myself to feel anger and it doesn't define my next day. Because before it did, because of the story I was telling myself from childhood or from wherever. Maybe I was telling myself that story because there was frustration or anger present in my family or something like that. And from that story, we need to open that story and read it, understand it. With that comes the surrendering. Okay, well, doesn't matter how I feel because I allow myself and it doesn't define me anymore. I don't connect to those emotions and feelings anymore. This is where I experience the relief. This is where I allow myself to explore what else is there for me. What other relief, what other sensation. Wow, if I can feel this, what else can I feel? How far can I go in terms of my everyday life, my boundaries, whatever there is. And so anytime you're grasping onto life is where you deny the flow itself. You're trying to stop something in your life. And with the stopping, with the grasping, you can feel this energy. The energy is closing. It's not opening. It's not opening. Okay, I surrender. This is a situation I've created throughout my mind. I surrender to it. I'm responsible for this because I have agreed to creating it. I surrender to it, and what's next? So hopefully next is relief, and thank you for being here. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.